Okay, what's going on? Okay, folks, this is a weird topic for me to decide to do a video on because I'm basically going to talk about how there's nothing to talk about, and that's not the kind of thing I like to do, but I'm frustrated at this point. Doctor Who is my favorite TV show. Even with my mixed feelings about Series 11, it's still my favorite TV show. I want to be excited for it. And last we heard about a date for Series 12, it was very early 2020. There's a month and a half left in 2019. And there has been virtually radio silence. The few bits and snippets that we've gotten, for the most part, are pretty much things that got leaked and there was no way to avoid. Like, we had an official released photo of the Jadoon, but that was because they had outdoor shooting with the Jadoon and people were going to see those outfits, so that was going to come out no matter what. Somebody managed to sneak some pictures of Daleks, of Cybermen, so we know that stuff's all coming back. So at this point, really the only thing that we know, and this is only just a tiny bit just because of stuff that's been picked up, is that after Series 11 had pretty much no returning villains or characters or anything like that from prior to the start of that particular series, this one, Series 12, is absolutely going to have that. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, who knows? We'll see. But that's about the only thing we know. And the radio silence is starting to irritate me. Now, again, it's weird to me that this is even bothering me because I am one of those people who gets annoyed when the hype train for something starts like a year before the thing's even going to come out. I'm actually really glad that most major blockbuster marketing cycles seem to have narrowed down to a 6-month after having been about a year for a lot of these things for a while. So, like, I'm fine with a shorter marketing cycle, but, you know, I still feel like there should be a marketing cycle of some kind. Now, having talked to some friends out who live in the UK, and this is not, I can't source this, I can't substantiate it, but sort of learning a little bit from people who are a bit more boots on the ground where the thing actually gets made, there is technically a marketing department for the BBC, but it's not quite the same sort of entity as like the marketing arm of Disney, Warner Brothers, Sony, what have you. And it oftentimes falls to the people when it comes to the BBC and television, it often in some ways falls onto the shoulders of the people who make the thing to hype it up. And that was something that I think maybe I kind of took for granted because it was something that Russell T Davies did an awful lot. It was something Stephen Moffat did an awful lot. Now, some of what they did rubbed fans the wrong way. I know there were certainly some statements from Moffat that was like, dude, stop talking. Or, you know, sometimes they just talk too much. But it felt like they were really trying to actively engage and keep things going and the conversation going and the excitement going between seasons. And Chibnall doesn't really seem that interested in that. And I don't think that's necessarily a failing on him as a human being. Like, if I were in his shoes, I don't think I'd particularly want to do that. Except that if that's the only way, or not the only way, but if that's a major way of how we keep the excitement going is by him stoking the fire and he's not willing to do that, that kind of leaves a bit of a vacuum. And even if that's not precisely the case, and that's not truly what's going on, the approach that the BBC has had with what little marketing has been done so far, speaking only personally, other people seem to be hyped, but it is bugging the heck out of me. So, a little while back, I think at the time of the recording, 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks at the time I'm recording this. They put up a thing on Twitter. There was just this image. And a cool image. It's a cool teaser image. It just says, watch this space. Nothing. For a week. And then, on the 10th, on the BBC Doctor Who channel on YouTube, they drop this content-free teaser that basically is teasing that there will be something on the 23rd. Now, the 23rd is Doctor Who Day. That is the date back in 1963 when the very first episode of Doctor Who aired. So doing something on that day, not that insanely out of whack, but this whole thing of trying to hype us up, not for a product, but for the preview of a product, these teasers for trailers, and actually it was a teaser image for a teaser trailer for what will presumably be a trailer on November 23rd, or a date airing announcement, or both, something. And I don't believe, I probably wouldn't be talking about this if this was anything other than Doctor Who, but I do not believe that Doctor Who is the reason I'm annoyed with this. I hate this kind of overly secretive, you tease that you're going to tease that you're going to tease style marketing. Like, I remember first feeling it got out of hand years ago with Prometheus, because when that came out, I remember there was like a week of like every day another little tiny behind the scenes, like little bits, snippets, tiny flashes of like, ooh, the trailer's coming. They had a week of trailers for a trailer. It was stupid then. But at the very least, those trailers for trailers did have something. Tiny glimpses, tiny bit of footage. Something for people to actually like comb through and examine and like look at the behind the scenes stuff to try and see what they could see of the sets. Or like it was something to, at least for the obsessives, let them mull over and pick through with a fine-tooth comb. This is nothing. This is just an announcement. That there will be an announcement. That there will be something on the 23rd. This isn't a Star Wars situation for me. Because with Star Wars, when the last trailer came out for Rise of Skywalker, see, I have a hard time even thinking of what the title is going to be. I did not feel anything. I am losing my passion for new Star Wars product, period. Just as a thing, almost regardless of how they market it. And that also frustrates me. I don't enjoy that either. But that's not what's going on here. I am not lacking for enthusiasm. I want new Doctor Who. I want more of Whittaker's Doctor Who. I want something. We have very little to go off of. That said, we have learned some of the writers who are going to be involved in this upcoming series. So let me get this information up, because there are some returning writers from the previous series, and obviously Chris Chibnall is back and running the show again. But we've also got some new writers, and it's a bit of a mixed bag for me when I looked into, or tried to look into, some of these people. So with the writing staff, hold on, where'd it go? There it is. So, the people who are coming back, Ed Heim, who wrote It Takes You Away, that's a good get in my book. It Takes You Away was my favorite episode of Series 11, and I think, even out of the context of that series, is a terrific episode of Doctor Who. I love that thing. So, awesome. I'm down for that. Nina Metivier, I don't know how to pronounce that. She was the script editor on Series 11. She's being set to actually write some episodes this time. Vinay Patel, who wrote Demons of the Punjab, which was my second favorite episode from Series 11. That writer's back as well. And then we've got some people who I am not familiar with. So we've got a Pete McTeague, who has done some Doctor Who related stuff before, worked on wrote Kerblam. That was right. He's a returning one as well. And Kerblam it has like some of its messaging and its themes are muddled. I do still like it as an episode, and I think it's a fun one, so I'm down for that. But then there is someone named Maxine Alderton, who I couldn't find very much on at all. And then there's Charlene James, who is a playwright. Like Wikipedia says playwright and screenwriter, but I'm assuming that it only says screenwriter on the basis of having been hired for Doctor Who, because everything she has done has been plays and like pretty grounded stuff so far as what I could find out about them. So she seems like an odd choice. And that doesn't necessarily make her a bad fit. I'm actually more worried about the fact, so like I'm not too worried about material, because I think it's very possible for someone to be working in one kind of genre but like have a passion for something else or for a specific property and want to do that. Like whatever, fine. It does make me nervous that her experience is in playwriting though, because playwriting and screenwriting, especially screenwriting for television, are different enough that I kind of wish I had something to grasp onto as to what, a point of reference for her ability to screenwrite. And I might not be so nervous about that in the hands of another showrunner. But, because back when it was Moffat or it was Davies, if they were going to bring in someone who normally doesn't write for TV, I could count on them to kind of shepherd that person through this. Chibnall, I don't feel like I can count on him for that. And again, we're a month and a half out from 2020. And we don't have a date. We don't even have a month. We don't even know if it's still truly early 2020. It should be. Filming's done so far as everything that I could find. But we're a month and a half away and we didn't even have a date. We have like one official... We have the teaser image, and before that we had like one official image with the Jadoon. It's very annoying for me because I want to get hyped, but I feel like they're not really trying. Which, I don't know if somebody thought, well, we did the hard work of selling the 13th Doctor, we can relax now, or if it's just different people who don't have the same enthusiasm for pushing the thing, or I don't know what it is. And I hope, and I don't think it's going to cause me to prejudge Series 12. I have my concerns because, again, I don't have a ton of faith in Chibnall as a showrunner, but like I said, they brought back, in my opinion, the writers of the best episodes of the previous series. That's a good sign to me. So there is reason for me to be hopeful. And I am. I just wish that I wasn't the only one giving myself that hope, because it feels like there's no legwork being done to engage the fans, and to a certain degree, you don't even have to do very much. The fan hype cycle is, in many ways, self-perpetuating. Like, so many of us, whether it be for this or the MCU or Star Wars or whatever, so much content, so much conversation, so much stuff happens based off so little. But there does still have to be something. We as a fan community will pick apart and talk about and debate and discuss and run through the possibilities of the tiniest little detail you care to give us. But this is nothing. That video was nothing. You have to give us something. We're here. I want to like this series. I want to be excited for it before it comes. But I'd like to not be the only one who is trying to feel that. I would like to feel like the people who are releasing it feel that. It's just weirdly disconnected right now. Anyway, I didn't really have a point to this rant other than I just needed to get this off my chest because I'm just frustrated right now. Who knows? Maybe come the 23rd they will drop a genius trailer and I'll be back here and be all smiles. One can hope. We'll see. But like, I needed to get this out now. I actually rearranged my schedule so I could do this video now because I wanted to get on record my frustration before it gets negated. Not to say that I wouldn't like my frustration to get negated. I would, but I also think my frustration at this point, this close to, or theoretically close to when new series should air, but we also don't even know that. Like, I think this frustration is valid. I kind of want it on the record. Doctor Who Series 12. What we know, what we don't know, how little we know for how close maybe it is. Who even knows? What are your thoughts on it? Whatever they are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Keep it polite, please. Talking about upcoming series for Doctor Who tends to get some people's hackles up. You can have whatever opinion you want, just don't be rude. Also, there's the like, the subscribe. I have merch. I have a Patreon page. You can share this. That helps. Comment, all those things. It helps the algorithm. It helps me. If you're able to support me through Patreon or through the PayPal tip jar, whatever you want to do, I will appreciate it. But you don't have to do it. Because at the end of the day, you're the council. I'm just running the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned.